I think one of the things that I went through was kind of like, okay, I love taking video, I love capturing moments, but a lot of it was pointing the camera at other people, and that was my comfort zone. And I still love doing that, crafting a story behind the camera and having it not involving me, but it's YouTube, so, you know, put your face in front of the camera. And that was uncomfortable in the beginning, but I have gotten better at it, you know? So what are some things in your career, or maybe something you're trying right now, that makes you so uncomfortable, but there was something great on the other side of that?
I think, you know, pointing a camera at yourself, it's not a very natural, I guess it is natural now, but it's like, I also have that problems like of, you know, I'm looking at myself and talking to myself or whatever, or talking to the audience really. But I mean, I guess the challenge for me is really just, because I'm a performer, I perform on the streets. I'm literally on the streets, and I found myself at times completely embarrassing myself in front of public. But I look back now and I realize these experiences of embarrassing myself ended up being so empowering for me, to the point where I like look for these moments, because I know that either way, if I embarrass myself, I'm still gonna come out. So the lesson that it taught me is that it's taught me to not give a crap as much of what people think anymore. And so constantly being on the streets and embarrassing myself and kind of making a fool of myself, but performing in public has taught me not to care as much about what people think, and it's empowering that way.
What you've done is scarier than pointing a camera at yourself. I mean, this dude will literally be out on Broadway with no one else and just start playing a piano, and hopefully a crowd will form, you know, which is bold, which is so cool though.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun because the piano is like this icebreaker. So like I'm playing piano on the streets with the city sounds and all that, and people just instantly gravitate, like, what are you doing? What is this? And because of that, I get to meet so many people, and in the end, that's not really the money, because I'm not really making much money on the streets, but it's the people that I've met that like have been driving me, because I can't wait to see where I'm going to end up next, or what party or what event I'm going to end up at. And
you have to be relationally driven too, because I think, you know, as creators, there's always that, how am I going to make money off of this? What's the next step? But I think shifting your mindset to like, how can I create opportunities to meet the people, be in the right rooms with the people who do have opportunities and ways to make money off of your living. But sometimes when you're so dollar focused, sometimes you'll miss key opportunities that can be the dollar outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
The relationships, is people. I mean, in this city particularly.
Yeah. What about you, Willie?
Well, I think what you just said is so key. It's about doing the work on the back end so that you're in the right places. I get the question, how did you meet Gary? I'm sure you get this a lot too. And I didn't reach out to him. I did the work beforehand, so I was in a place where it just happened, right? And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of New York. If you put in the work, or wherever you are, honestly, like those opportunities are much more likely to happen. What was the other question? So
the question was, what is something that you did that was terribly uncomfortable, that something great was on the other side?
I guess starting a company was pretty uncomfortable. Starting a vlog while I was doing that company was really uncomfortable, especially because you have to be willing to kind of look like an idiot for a long time. Which is awkward when you're trying to also manage and lead people. But I think it's opened up so many doors. I mean, I ended up meeting one of my new business partners through that. I've met my wife kind of through that. So I met a lot of people in that journey, but it was super uncomfortable. But in life, I mean, that's when the biggest opportunities always come up, right? The more you can seek out those uncomfortable opportunities, the more likely you are to find greatness. So.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, India? When you were so she makes these really cool signs with very, like, I don't want to say, how do you describe, like, what you write on the sign, or, like, what those signs say?
They're really personal. That's actually kind of what I was going to talk about, was that I make banners that say sentences that I've written, and I really only have like one shot to make an impact with them, because they're literally just like one or two sentences. So I spent a lot of time like rewriting the same sentence over and over with different words. And they're really personal thoughts to me. They're usually something I think about on the subway, or like when I'm in the shower and I get out and like run and write it down, and I rework it a lot. So putting those out on the internet, especially when I have a following that's growing, is so intimidating because they're very personal thoughts to me. And I think the coolest part was just seeing how so many people relate to them. So many people message me saying how impactful they are. They'll say like, I think about it sometimes and it's comforting to me, which is so incredibly special to hear. I'm also like a really, as you know, Sarah, really unabashed, unapologetic feminist. So a lot of my work has a lot of those tones in it. And putting that out on the internet as a woman is like
makes you a target.
Absolutely
almost.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I actually don't put my work on Twitter because it's like the most terrifying place to me right now. Instagram, I've created a community where people are really kind and nice, and I'm so grateful for that. But people still find their way in, and that, you know, I think putting the work out there and saying those things and making people think about it is way better, and I can totally handle like the abuse that I get in my DMs because it's worth it for me to like say those things out loud and have people like think about it. So it's worth it, but it's really hard, you know, because I'm definitely, people are like, don't read the comments. I'm like, I'm reading all the comments, like every single one, and I'm taking them to heart. So it's intimidating, definitely, but worth it.